Just quit my job. After getting no hours, dealing with rude customers, passive-aggressive managers, and getting my hours cut to barely 5 hours a week, I finally got the courage to quit my job with no notice. Fuck that job. I finally quit. I've worked as a hostess for a restaurant for 5 months. However, I also did custodial, expo, to-go orders, pre-busing, and boxed/bagged our bakery items. Minimum wage. I stuck it out, I did my job well. However, Saturday night was the final straw. I was set to close with 3 other people, another host and 2 wait staff. Host called in late, then went home 10 minutes in because they had a headache from working out. 1 waiter no call no showed. And, manager didn't call anyone to come in and help close. So I had to do all of my normal closing stuff by myself plus some of the wait staff's closing chores, and I didn't get my meal comped like I normally do, and half of my tips were kept. It's been a good run, but I'm done. The day I bought a car. I gave my boss a heads up that I needed a day off to purchase a car with my husband. She said it doesn't take that long to buy a car, you can come in still in the afternoon. I said I will let her know how things are going and if that would be possible. Well, the process took forever and by noon, we were nowhere near done, so I called her and told her I couldn't make it in. HR already approved my day off anyways, so I didn't give it much thought. I came in the next day and my boss made a show of my absence by presenting me with a write-up for not coming into work when I was supposed to. She did it during a meeting with the company and a client on video chat. I just laughed because I knew it was BS and she did for show. 6 months later she was let go for poor performance and terrible attendance. Your manager is not your elementary school principal. They have no actual control over you. Just a friendly reminder that you have made an agreement with your company that is mutually beneficial for you and the company. You have a product the company wants, your time and labor. The company has a product you want, cash. You have made a mutual agreement to trade these 2 things. Fuck every manager that thinks they have any power over you. I keep reading these posts where managers are acting like elementary school principals. You are mutually trading goods with your company for the benefit of you both. There is no power held by the company within the bounds of your employment. There is especially no power held by your manager with whom you likely have no direct contract. Any manager that thinks they have 1 ounce of power or superiority over you should be reminded to fuck right off. By accepting a job offer, you have not signed up to go back to elementary school, you have signed up to make a beneficial, professional trade of assets with a company. You are equal parties in this agreement and no side holds authority over the other. Edit, you are offering a product and your employer is buying from you. At best your employer is a client. Had my "you can't fire me because I quit" moment this weekend. The afterglow is amazing. I was a volunteer research assistant in the evenings after work. I have volunteered for the last 2 years as an undergrad. The principal investigator told me the evening before that I had no participants on the schedule for the rest of the week. In the morning, I checked my schedule and still had no participants. I ended up needing to stay after at work and missed the email while I was working that she had scheduled someone with me a few hours before the session was to take place. Since I had to stay after at work, I missed the session, and was not in a position to check my email or I would have let her know. She absolutely was pissed at me. I explained to her what happened and apologized. She threatened to fire me and added, "The fact that you missed a participant is very upsetting for me. I'm sorry, but I cannot hang up on a client to prioritize lab participants, and as far as I knew I had no one coming into the lab." She sent a pretty nasty message and I get it, running a study is hard especially when it is falling apart. I told her that since my contribution to the lab was expendable to her, and given the state of our declining relationship, that I need to withdraw my ability to volunteer. To me it doesn't matter who is right or who is wrong. Don't threaten to fire someone if you are not prepared to lose their free labor. If me missing one participant is very upsetting, I can only imagine how upsetting the next few weeks will be, as it takes a while to train people on this protocol. I've blocked her, and have been enjoying my weekend playing video games with my husband. It feels amazing. I am looking forward to the free time in my evenings again. My boss made a comment about my disability. I have a disability that leaves me only able to work about 5 hours each day, and last week I was sick and had to leave work. Came in today and my boss said that he was upset with me and that I was lucky they let me work 5 hours a day while others are working for more, as if I'm not in constant pain during my whole shift. I found it really offensive. Am I overreacting? Thank you, Chipotle. Seriously, thank you, Chipotle. Your abusive company and awful management for the 3 years that I suffered there really opened my eyes. From having a manager tell me, a manager as well ATM, to threaten to fire an employee who called out due to miscarriage, to watching both hire UPS come in and work a short shift while sick with the flu and around food actively. Companies don't give a rat's ass, and neither should you. It's like I tell my employees now, only care when you are there and working. After that, screw it. Don't go above and beyond, do your job, and anything after that you do at half a pace. If they want better results, then let them figure it out. I'm so tired of seeing post after post about how all these trash companies try to pull crap over on anyone. Y'all don't deserve it in the slightest. So thank you, anti-work, and remember it's 2022, you ain't held down by shit in terms of jobs anymore. Leave those trashy, toxic places and explore what's best for you. It ain't worth living your life taking hit after hit. I love and appreciate your hard work, green heart. Educated, experienced, and not worth 3%er. Hey y'all. I live in Louisiana. I am a clinical laboratory scientist. I did this in the Army from 2003 onward, took a break to get a Master of Education, decided I hated entitled little shits and their fake religious parents, went back to the lab. Got hired at the place I work now in 2016. I helped them set up this lab, get all the equipment validated, and up and running. Since then, many things that directly affect my job has happened. The number of clients we get patient samples from has gone up 10x, our ER reopened, oh yeah, COVID happened. My wife got pregnant after 17 years of us trying. Right after she graduated law school. In the middle of a pandemic. In a place where people are generally idiots. So I took several months off to await the birth of this expensive as hell IVF baby. She is awesome BTW. My old job literally begged me to come back, and offered me a $7,500 signing bonus. That was July of last year. Since then, we have lost all of our managers from the director on down, plus 80% of the experienced staff. We have a severe shortage of licensed folks in this state, and hospitals, travel tech agencies, and other places are throwing money at anyone with experience and a license. I trained my new supervisor. Our new director literally got the job because she happened to be there as an interview failed. She was that location's technical supervisor at the time. We have 3 experienced folks at my site, and we got several fresh out of school people. Supply chain issues are affecting us, and some accountant somewhere decided that we should buy our analyzers outright. Dumb, not get service contracts, dumber, and not increase staff and testing capacity as our patient load grew. Dumbest. Basically, I am holding together this place. I have trained all the new staff, while working full-time, trying to correct the new people's mistakes so they don't kill someone. I took the first vacation I have had in 5 years, and promptly got COVID. While I was recovering, I got a notification from HR that my annual evaluation was completed. We have 3 levels. Top talent, highly valued, and needs improvement. TT gets a 3% annual raise and like 0.005 more GPT hours accrued. HV gets 2%. NI gets nothing. We also have this thing I have heard about called success share, which seems to be some sort of profit sharing, but I have never gotten it. HR is very good at finding ways to deny people who actually work anything extra. Although after Hurricane Ida they did give us all $25 gas cards because people were having trouble getting to work. Anyway, vacation ends, I go back to work to learn that our hospital was hit by a massive ransomware attack, that the brain trust at the top of the organization refused to pay the ransom. So we had 10 days of doing everything on paper. Then I got to spend 7 days trying to fix things, order tests, make sure patient results were properly manually recorded. There were no experienced people on site when this occurred, and they didn't bother calling any of us, because they wanted to keep it in-house and quiet. I solved the problem in 6 days, and at the end, my evaluation was the same as it always is, highly valued. I got a bit pissed. So I sent a long email, "If you made it this far, you know I am kinda overly verbose," to the CFO, director, my supervisor, and the head of HR. I tried to tag in the hospital CEO, but was given an error message that said you are not authorized to email directly. This guy brags about his open door policy, BTW. Just nothing in writing. So, I have a meeting with all of these people on Wednesday. I am going to explain to them exactly what is wrong, and what needs to get fixed. I have already warned my direct supervisor that I am going to be recording the meeting, and if I hear any HR fuckery, I am leaving. I will keep everyone posted. This subreddit opened my eyes. After a while I've always dismissed this subreddit as being lazy and bunch of unappreciative brats. I was wrong. I can admit the failures of the workplace industry if it's either managers threatening to fire you over an emergency, or treating you poorly. I'm happy to open my eyes in this subreddit and see why people hate working places where they don't want to work and not go by the conservative narrative. Corporate greed dissolves human empathy. TW, dog death. I used to work at a small chain grocery store on the island in SC where my family lived. Everyone at the store knew my family because it was just a short walk from my home to the store, and my mom was the main courier for the island. So, my manager knew all about my mom working 10 HR days, and my little brother being disabled. My brother doesn't have use of his legs because his spine stopped developing in the womb. He had a dog that was part husky, part Rottweiler, named Wubby. One day when Wubby was 11 years old, he suddenly died while sleeping in his giant bed in our kitchen. My mom woke me up at 5 a.m. to tell me, making it clear that my little brother cannot see his dog like this. But Wubby weighed 80 pounds, and his bed was right next to the kitchen door. So, I had to call out of work to take care of this. My mom's job was leagues more important, while I only had a shift to work for HRS in the produce department. I got friends to come over to help me take care of Wubby, and break the news to my brother. It was one of the hardest days of my life. The next day, I had a similar shift scheduled, and I came in despite still being distraught. My manager scolded me for calling out the previous day, saying the words that burned into my brain and made me loathe this man. It was just a dog. He knew that my little brother would have woken up and gone to get breakfast after I left for work. He knew that he would have to see his dog dead in our kitchen, and be alone for hours. But this man thought it was more important that I show up to make sure the apples were arranged correctly. I would have earned just $32 for that shift. Dogs have been our companions for longer than currency exchange has existed. To many people, our pets are on the same level as our human family members, even higher, when it comes to crappy family. But when corporate interests get to dictate what counts as important, human empathy erodes. Casual dress policy. So my boss, who has been on maternity leave for months, has come back to the office, and since she has been away they have introduced a casual summer dress and she hates it. Today, she called my team, 3 of us, into a meeting room and said that she had been asked by the director if we had been adhering to the policy and she had to say no, and that he told her to send us home but she said not to and that we have to do better. The problem? The 3 of us were wearing trainers and she wants us to wear boat shoes. I don't know what she was expecting the 3 of us to do, but all of us told her that it's absolutely pathetic and that if she sent us home to change we quite simply won't come back. Anyway, one of the other managers told us that she had made it all up and it was a huge lie. Knowing she's going to be there when I wake up every morning makes me want to cry. I start a new job tomorrow, After 2 interviews, a background check and references, they sent me 6 assignments to complete before I start, taking over 6 hours to complete without pay. WTF. Two-way street? Let's see the manager's resume. Before the interview, I'll need a copy of the manager's resume. If I decide the manager made the cut, I'll need references from 3 people that have worked for this manager in the past. Sorry, no exceptions. That's my policy. I'm rooting for you though. Best of luck.